have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to be.
I started this channel last year back in December. I uploaded 3 videos and I stopped producing content altogether. I would sit in front of the keyboard and stare at the blinking cursor for hours on end. There was always something that would come up, some major event to attend to, or some problem to solve. It would manifest itself as self-doubt, procrastination, and anxiety. The funny thing is, all of the stories that I was telling myself all felt completely rational. I was pumped up when the year began, but I wasn't prepared for what was about to come. Resistance. Most of us have 2 lives, says Steven Pressfield. The life we live and the unlived life within us. And between the two stands resistance. If you have an idea for a podcast, a new book, or a business idea, it's that voice that you hear in your head that's constantly telling you, who are you to be putting all of this together? And that was exactly what I was going through. It wasn't that I didn't have any good ideas to write about, but it was just that I could not put my ass where my heart wanted to be. But here's what I learned. Resistance can be beaten. In his book War of Art, author Steven Pressfield talks about how resistance is directly proportional to the importance of your goal or your dreams. Like a magnetic compass that always points towards the true north, resistance always points towards your true calling. The more important a goal or a dream is to your soul's evolution, the more resistance you will feel towards pursuing it. In the last week alone, I managed to build this small filming setup, take some cool shots, write, edit, and publish this video. Here are 5 steps that I took to get out of my own way and put my ass where my heart wanted to be. Number 1. Know thy enemy. If you are planning to wage a war against resistance, the victory lies with the side that knows their enemy the most. Whether you like it or not, your biggest enemy is yourself. Identify the tasks that are causing you the most discomfort and go ahead and crush them. You'll feel a lot more gratification after you've done your due diligence than if you are focused on mindless activities that gives you meaningless satisfaction. Number 2. Be one with the resistance. You cannot outwit or run away from resistance. You can only embrace it. There will never come a time when you will never have to face resistance. It's better to befriend the enemy and become one with it, while still going after what you want. Number 3. You are not your thoughts. The nagging voice of self-doubt and judgment will only be silenced after the work is done. Whatever thoughts may arise before or while doing your job is not you. It is that negative force keeping you from doing what you should be doing. Let those thoughts arise, but do not believe it to be true. Number 4. Be miserable. I know this sounds silly, but unless you learn how to love being a failure, you will never be able to love the feeling of being a winner. The Marines derive a perverse sense of pride using crappy equipment, worn-out boots, and higher casualty rates. They despise the candy-ass jockeys who don't know how to be miserable. The artist, like the Marine, must love being miserable, because this is war, baby, and war is hell. Number 5. Stop finding healing. Somehow, at least in our culture, we feel like we need to find a way to heal ourselves before we journey towards our calling. We find answers, seek meaning, and run around until we can fully be ourselves. But here's the thing, meaning cannot be found elsewhere, but in doing what you're supposed to do. Once you complete that assignment, that dream project, or that thing you've been avoiding, you will realize that all your pain and suffering will melt away. Now, if you are ready to strap on those worn-out boots and wage a war against resistance, I applaud you. For those of us who are willing to face their own worst enemy, which is themselves, and get out of their own way, seize the day, champions.